Hello, welcome back to the channel and thank you for joining me in another of my monologues. I'm a bit hit and miss at the moment with getting them out on a daily basis. In fact, I've been trying to keep the monologues every other day because imminently the lovely Julia and I will be on the land. Our land project is coming to fruition, which is fantastic news for us. Sorry about the intermittent service, and we will be recording our progress, as I've said before, on the English Couple channel. And I'll leave links, they're already in the description, so you can check that out as we go. The solicitors are, well, they've given me the bits and pieces to sign now, so I think in early October we will be on it and we'll start releasing videos, which will be very good. Now, as you can see, this isn't our new land. I wish it was. It's rather fantastic, rather lovely. I'm back in Scotland, Okai the New, in Crieff, at the Crieff Hydro. And this is just one side of this beautiful building, which dates back, I don't know to when, but there was originally a spring, in fact, two springs. And I was talking to the manager here, and he said, yes, they come in and they're fantastic. But unfortunately, legally, we have to chlorinate them. You kind of go, well, that sort of defeats the whole essence of having spring water, but there you are. That is the legal world for you. But it's water I want to talk about because we're here at the Barbara O'Neill Health Summit. As I say, we were here last year. It was absolutely fantastic. And we enjoyed it immensely. And I made a couple of videos whilst I was away, and we'll try and make more. And I want to pick up really on a couple of things that Barbara is talking about, because she knows her stuff. She has been kicked out of Australia, as you may or may not know, to practice what she talks about, but she is able to go around the rest of the world and tell people some very basic stuff. And one of those, of course, she's very wary, like so many of us these days, of medication. And we've had lots of different speakers here talking. Dr. Tess Lawrie was here, Dr. Malcolm Kendrick has been here, and a chap who's got what do they call it? Energetic water and healing energy devices. Thomas Warrior, interesting chap, talking about the sort of the new wave of technology, which actually isn't that new. It's been around for some time. But water is the key thing. And I think it's very important to remind people. And that's the purpose of this, because it's reminded me of just how important we are, principally water beings, and water holds information. Water is the key to our existence. Now, very many of us will get the water out of the tap, and we know that the tap water has been filled with all sorts of chemicals. It's been treated, of course. Treating something doesn't sound very good. Something that's natural is far better. But as a result of that treatment, very many of the minerals are lost and other chemicals have been added. And of course we know that there are, and I've had on the show various people who've talked about how to energize water, how you can have structured water, and the importance of things like Celtic sea salt, which has something like 82 minerals in it that you can take. A small pinch will give you a lot of those supplements that have been stripped from water and indeed food. So really, I just wanted to remind people we're probably not drinking enough water. We all think we are because we have water in coffee and tea and fizzy drinks, but of course that's loaded with other things, and many of those are stimulants. Now, I like a cup of coffee, that's true, and I probably drink far too many coffees than is good for me, and I'm going to make the effort to try and drink more water, especially when we're on the land, because we'll be doing a lot more physical things than normally I do when I'm sitting down and just chatting to you in an armchair, relaxed and what have you. Because some of those stimulants, some people might say, but Richard, we know that you smoke a pipe. And it's true, and that's because of the nicotine in there. So to counteract that, little and often, drip, drip, drip. And we know that salt is so good for us, because what's the first thing they do when you're in an accident and you're taken into A&E? They put you on a saline solution, don't they, to get the salts into you. And when you think back to the sort of Victorian times, and even before the Georgian times, when they used to take to the water, they would go to the seaside. They would recommend sunshine, vitamin D, of course, some of that beautiful sea air, but the sea water. And they used to recommend you drink a pint of seawater. I've got a book, I can't remember the title exactly, it's The Spas of England and Wales, and there's this chap, Granville, Dr. Melvin Granville, I think it is, who went round in 1840 and visited all the spas and watering holes and measured the quality of those waters, whether they were calibrate springs or other ones across the place. And it's interesting how that information, that old-fashioned information that we're now discovering, actually meant something and was true. Wasn't just them being ignorant, that actually the salt water was very good for us. But obviously we don't want to overdo it. If you're, abandoning ship on the Titanic and you're there in a rowing boat and all you've got is seawater, water everywhere, but not enough to drink. Obviously too much of that is not good for you. But we do need a little bit of that sea salt, that Celtic sea salt, in with our natural water, whether it's been filtered or it's been the reverse osmosis, or even the one that they make gin from, where they distill it, that process. Whichever way you choose, a little bit of Celtic sea salt is going to help. Anyway, we've been thoroughly enjoying the sessions. I'm emceeing here, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, and all of that sort of stuff, and picking up hints and tips. So that, I just wanted to remind you how important water is in our system. I'm going to ask Julia now to turn the camera off because I haven't got all my editing gear here, so can't do any editing, so nothing fancy. But until next time, thank you for joining me, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.